And we have people here in this body that don't think we should hold up refugees from Iran. As the gentleman was talking about, the government has not shown any good faith at all. Would the gentleman be concerned about having people that the Iranian government allowed to slip out of the country and come into the United States? Do you have any problem with President Obama's pause on that refugee surge into the United States?
Well, I thank the gentleman from Texas for yielding. And isn't it refreshing to have a president of the United States who is willing to do in office precisely the things he said he would do on the campaign trail, notably putting the interests of Americans and the security of Americans first in a world that even former Secretary of State George Shultz said is more dangerous and perilous today than during the highest tensions of the Cold War. And so to specifically answer the gentleman's question, I'm grateful that President Trump is prioritizing the security of Americans. And my hope is that in the 115th Congress, we will work with the President, with his administration, to ensure that as we continue to mature these policies and advance them, we do them in a way that is easily understandable for those enforcing them and for the American people, and that it sends a message to the world that America continues to be the most generous country on the planet when it comes to welcoming individuals who share our values and who aspire to be productive and prosperous and inclusive. But what we have no tolerance for are those who would want to come to the United States of America not to be part of the American experience, but to destroy it. Too often, that has not just been the fear that we have felt from some who have been embedded by Daesh within refugees, but it is exactly what is preached by the government of Iran. How silly of the United States to think that we would give hundreds of billions of dollars to a nation that calls America the great Satan, that seeks to wipe Israel off the planet Earth, and believe that that money will be used for peaceful purposes. It won't. Iran's desires for expanded hegemony are not to stabilize the Middle East. They are expressly to destabilize the Middle East. This regime in Iran will never share America's values. And so America should not be funding the very destructive behavior that has done so much to harm the lives of so many people. And the gentleman from Texas brings up a great point. If we hadn't endured the policies of appeasement for the last 8 years, if America hadn't withdrawn from the world stage so suddenly, then perhaps we would not have the conditions in the Middle East that have made life so difficult for people that they have wanted so badly to be refugees to Europe and to the United States. We should want countries to succeed that are willing to be stable and inclusive. But those who are our sworn enemies, those who do not share our values, should receive no quarter from the United States of America. Mr. Speaker, I have the great honor to serve on the House Armed Services Committee, and we received briefings this week, thanks to Chairman Thornberry, from General Petraeus and other national security experts. And they reinforced these facts, that the world is dangerous as a consequence of American withdrawal. And I'm grateful that the 115th Congress will stand with President Trump in his agenda to rebuild our military, to rebuild our standing, and to make very clear to the world that we'll be with you if you want peace. But if you aspire to spread terror, there is no role for you on the global stage, and we will not do the things to elevate those terrible regimes to states of prominence. This is a great time for revival and renewal in this country. And as Americans do more to rebuild the country internally and grow our economy and achieve more prosperity with lower and fairer taxes, with a regulatory climate that is more acceptable for a prosperous country, we also have to keep an eye on the world and our position in the global stage. And I think that it is refreshing that that is a time of revival as well, and restoration, and restored American prominence. Because the world is a safer place when America is the strongest country in the world. President Trump's actions today to create sanctions against those who have been directly involved in ballistic missile tests send a clear message. We will stand with our allies, and we will stand against the enemies of peace. And with that, I yield back to the gentleman.